Hello, Algebra 1's class. So, talking about the test, we're going to go over all the answers step by step and go kind of slowly. I would suggest that you write all of this down so that you can start learning it better. And then when you're ready to do the retake, you let me know. If there's still questions after we go through this process, let me know and we can do it in tutoring. All right, the other question is, how long do I have to make up this test until the grading period ends? So here we go. Number one, we had 5.3 xy minus 2.7 yx plus 6.4 y plus 3.1 xy minus 3.9y. So the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite this to make sure all my terms match up. 5.3 xy minus 2.7, also xy, because I'm just changing those around, plus 6.4y plus 3.1 xy and minus 3.9 y. So the only one that I really needed to change was this one here. Now I'm going to look for my like terms. First I'll look for xy. So I have an xy here, I have an xy here, and I have an xy here. So I have a 5.3 minus a 2.7. So that gives me a 2.6, and then plus a 3.1. So that gives me a 5.7 xy. Now, what else do I have? I'm going to double line these because these are like terms. I have y's. I have a 6.4 minus a 3.9. And I get a positive 2.5 y. And so that is our answer. Number two, I have a negative 4 ABC minus 3 CBA plus 3 AB plus 8 BAC. So first thing I'm going to do is rewrite it so that all my terms look the same. So negative 4 ABC minus 3, and here I have an ABC, plus a 3AB, plus an 8, and again I have an ABC. Now I can go through and look at my like terms, ABC, ABC, ABC. So negative 4 minus 3, that's a negative 7, and a negative 7 plus 8 is a positive 1. So that's ABC. I don't need the 1 in front because it's positive 1. And then, lucky for me, all I've got left is a 3AB, and that is our answer. Number 3, I've got an x plus a y minus a 4x plus a 2yx plus a 2x minus a 3xy. So here I'm going to have 3 different terms, but again, I want to get them all going in the same direction or looking the same. So I have an x, I have a y, I have a minus 4x, I have a plus 2. I'm going to put x in first, x first rather, x2y, plus a 2x minus a 3xy. So first I want to look for my x's. So I have a single x here, I have a single x here, and a single x here. So x, 1x, minus 4x, it's a negative 3, a negative 3x plus 2x is still a negative 1x. So that gives me a negative x. Now I'm going to look for my y's. Underline them with 2. I only have 1, so that's easy. Just plus y. And now, how many xy's do I have? I have an xy here, and I have an xy here. So 2xy minus 3xy is minus 1xy. Don't need the 1 in front, just minus xy. And number 4. I have a 7 minus 5 plus a 4a minus 2 plus a 6a plus 0 minus 9a. So first, I'm just going to look for my whole numbers. I've got a 7, I've got a 5, I've got a 2, and a 0. So 7 minus 5 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. And 0 plus 0 is still 0. So I could put down a 0, but I don't need to because it's 0. Now let's look for my a's. I have a 4a here, I have a 6a here, and a negative 9a here. So 4a plus 6a, that's my 10a. 10a minus 9a is 1a, or just a. And those are my answers for that. The next part was the distributive property. And the first one we had was a negative 4x minus 8y plus 12z, all of that times 4x. So on these, you're going to take whatever is outside of the parentheses, in this case 4x, and you're going to distribute it across each term that is inside the parentheses. So first we go 4x times a negative 4x. It's a negative 16x squared. Why x squared? Because we have an x here and an x here. So it'd be a negative 16xx or a negative 16x squared. Next, I'm going to take that 4x and distribute it across the 8y. So I've got 4x and a negative 8y. Negative 8 times 4 is a negative 32. And again, I have the x here and the y here. So it's a negative 32 xy. Then I'm going to take it times my last term, which is 12z. 4 times 12 is a positive 48. And I have an x from here and a z from that 12. So it's 48xz. And that is our answer. Then number 6 is on the other side, but we're going to distribute it the same way. Luckily, this time we only have 2 terms to worry about. So doing the same thing, first we go with the number outside the parentheses, 9x, and we're going to multiply it times our first term, which is 8y. 9 times 8 is 72, and we have an x, and we have a y from the 8 there, so it's 72xy. And then we have 9x times the next term, the second term, which is a negative 6. 9 times a negative 6 is a negative 54. And we have an x, and we have an m. So xm or mx, either way would work. And that's how those work out. The next part of the test was evaluating. So the first one, we have a p plus a negative x times the p plus x, and it says if x is 2 and p is a negative 4. So the first thing I'm going to do is slowly just rewrite this with the numbers. So we replace p's with negative 4. So I have a negative 4 plus, in parentheses, x is 2, but I have a negative x. So I have a negative 2, and then parentheses, p, which is a negative 4, plus, and plus 2, which is x. So I'm just replacing everything in with the numbers and now simplifying from there. So again, I have a negative 4 plus a negative 2 times this whole thing here. So a negative 4 plus a positive 2 is a negative 2. A negative 2 times a negative 2, well, let me just drop this down. It's still negative 4 plus negative 2 times a negative 2 is a positive 4. So plus 4, and a negative 4 plus 4 is 0. The next one, number 8, says we have a negative x times a positive y times a negative x plus y if x equals 5 and y is a negative 2. First thing, put everything in. So first I have a negative x, so that becomes a negative 5, because x is 5, times y, and y is a negative 2. And then all that times, again, a negative x, so again, we have x is 5, so a negative 5, plus, and y is a negative 2, plus a negative 2. Now we can simplify some of this right off the bat. Negative 5 times a negative 2 is a positive 10, times a negative 5 plus a negative 2 is a negative 7, and then 10 times a negative 7 is a negative 70. Number 9 says p times a negative x minus p times x. And p is a negative 3, and x is a positive 4. So again, let's just replace everything. P is a negative 3, so I have a negative 3 times a negative x. Well, x is 4, so that'd be a negative 4 minus p times x. So p is a negative 3, and x is a positive 4. So now, order of operations, we do our multiplication first. A negative 3 times a negative 4 is a positive 12, then minus, and a negative 3 times a positive 4 is a negative 12. So 12 minus a negative 12 is the same thing as saying 12 plus 12, which equals 24. And then last in that section, we had a negative x minus a negative a times a minus x if x equals a negative 3 and a equals 5. I'll come back to this one in just a second.